the heat. Brings us up. 3 minus 7 is 4 plus 4.
Damn.
8 damage. Whoa!
That's a hell of a shotgun blast. Nice.
Ishana picks herself up off the floor and goes in for a final strike using her willpower.
Really?
Yeah, this thing's done. With that, she brings the Masamune down and impales it back into the computer, and then slices it in half. Putting it back neatly inside of its sheath. To which he falls apart in typical samurai death fashion.
Fantastic.
Alright, with that, you guys defeat the thing, and Ishana kind of slumps against a wall somewhere. Trying to figure out how. Okay, I've never actually almost been dead. This is kind of weird. How do I deal with this? So she's trying to like find ways to like patch herself up.
Do we even have anyone around who can help with that? Is there even anything to patch her up with?
Jax would know, but he is very, very busy trying to keep things running. As though he knows what's going on. He's just hammering away as fast as he can.
Yeah.
You're looking for something. You begin to tell that he's not trying to fix things right now in the other world. That's VL's job. He's trying to find something right now. He's just going page after page, just moving as quickly as he can. You can see beads of sweat beginning to form on his brow. And he tried. So, do you ask him any questions as he's going at it? He seems like he can talk. At least he can multitask enough. He's trying to like communicate to Barry how to help Ishana out. Says, alright, I need you to go, get your jacket, take it off, you're gonna tear it to strips, you're gonna wrap it around her, make sure that she's not bleeding out, okay? Make sure you wrap it tight, keep pressure on it, and she should be fine, okay? And he's just going at it again.
God, yeah. We're gonna ask him, did you know you'd find me here? Did you have any idea?
No. The honest answer, no. I had no idea that you were even here, but that's also because no one actually knows who you are, except for older DMH members, bro.
God. I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck I managed to get here myself. The last thing I remember, I was in a cabin in the woods on a mission trying to stop some cultists, and I fell down a slope that managed to come out of nowhere, and there was just a machine. There's just a long hall, glass hall, and a machine, and
He actually stops for a few seconds. Wait, a glass hall? Did the room look kind of weird, like things weren't working the way they're supposed to, as he continues to clatter away?
essentially, and no matter what I tried to do, it seemed like for some reason the machine was sentient in some form, but it didn't respond to any of the questions I had. It just kept telling me I wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay, yeah, I think I know what's going on. I accidentally messed with some stuff the last time I was here that might have gotten you into a debug room, from the sounds of it. I was dicking around with some of the controls in there, trying to figure out how to fucking deal with this thing.
What do you mean the last time you were here? You've been here before?
Yeah, 4 days ago when the machine first came down and took everybody, I snuck in here. And I've been trying to study it, and after 4 days and a lot of drugs, you note that he has dark circles under his eyes. He has not slept in the last 4 days. He says we are dealing with something so massive. I can't even like fully comprehend the fucking thing. It's ridiculous.
How the hell did you even know how to find a place like this?
I just got lucky. Let's just put it that way. That's the only way I can describe it. I was not in the area when it showed up. I saw it when it did come, and I came back the Entire hotel was gone. Everybody else was gone, and it began to move away. But I managed to track down some weird, glitchy-looking things and started following it that way. It doesn't make sense unless you were there. I can't really explain it, but I managed to follow it to a factory that was on the outskirts of town. Apparently, that's where they took everybody, and they shoved them all into these tubes and machines. It's like something straight out of fucking Matrix, except much bigger.
What do you mean by a glitch?
Well, when the machine sent out its little soldiers, I guess we can call them angels. That's about the only thing I can really equate them to. They showed up, they took everybody away, and these things, as they moved around, could glitch through walls. They could just move through them. And when they move through certain buildings, they leave behind a residue. A strange residue that fucks with reality, just a little bit. Bricks shift around just out of the corner of your sight. Carpet looks like it's still rendering, if you know what I mean. It's not something doesn't seem right about it. And when you stare at it long enough, you can kind of see it.
Real quick, just then, this is out of character, real quick. Jax is part of DMH?
No, he's not DMH.
Okay, so...
But he's a very well-known ace of spades.
Wait, fuck, I want to try to turn my attention to Shauna, and hopefully she's not, like, still too much overwhelmed.
No, she's getting better. She's just figuring, okay, I need to be more careful and not get attacked more.
Because Ishana was with me and a couple of others during the last thing that I remember.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually going to try and turn my attention to Ishana right now and ask her what has been going on the last couple of days. Jax, you said 4 days ago?
Yep.
Where were you, Ishana?
She looks up at you, and she's kind of letting Barry attend to her. Zulfikar looks kind of concerned, but he's trying to look like he's not, really. As he's kind of like, oh no, is she gonna be okay? Zulfikar's in a weird place right now. But Ishana looks at you, and she says, through a heavy breath of just fatigue, and the lack of spiritual power here is just crushing her. She is practically suffocating right now from the complete void of souls. She looks up at you and says, I was in the Valley of Kings. I was trying to recover a little bit more. 4 days ago I was still there, and only just this morning I was informed that everybody was taken already. And I came as quickly as I could, and that's about all that happened.
Do you remember a mission in Texas in a cabin?
She shakes her head. No, I don't.
Not from
Jack,
just a few days ago, but from any point in time.
She pauses and thinks, I do recall something. Yes, I was there with you. That was many years ago.
Okay.
Jax looks over and says, the God Machine basically put a fabrication, a false server in, if you will. A second reality in which you guys didn't meet up with each other. Basically, the Cardians never ran into the Western Division, our Western Initiative. And because of that, it would go back through your past, it would replay the cycle of your life over and over again. This is your prison. You actually were not supposed to get out. You're supposed to be trapped in that reality forever.
I was supposed to be stuck in that fucking place on a loop.
Yes. And that's what's happening to the rest of the gang right now.
Well then, as fucking strange as this is, and as much as I really want to leave this mechanical hellhole, I do have to give you my thanks for opening that container.
He nods and says, Yeah. Uh, couldn't leave you guys in there. I've been trying really hard to figure out ways to get you guys out. And look. He actually stops for a few seconds. I don't have much time to explain this, but I need you to understand something. Barry, hop onto it, and Barry gets onto the computer. He actually seems to kind of know what he's doing, and he's clacking away. He's going about it as fast as Jax is. Jax was, and he says, just keep looking for that file I was talking to you about, okay? And Jax walks with you and says, come with me, man. He goes over to a small area off to the side. One weird-looking area, which shows a strange-looking set of lines. Says, alright, take a look at this. Now, you see here a line, right? And you see a dot next to it. And it just keeps going, right? And as you're looking at it, it's a series of lines and dots. And it kind of just goes for a while, and it just rotates around. You can put your hands on it and rotate it. It spins in place. And you go through it until you get to a point where it's kind of a fairly short line, short-ish. And right at the end is a dot. He says, alright, this is the actual end of the world. Then he scrolls back several hundred dots. This is where we are. And he touches his point on the line, and it brings up, underneath it, unfolds a series of images. It shows every single time the world starts over, the God Machine has a certain set of people that it brings out into the world to shape the world. Every huge religious figure, every big, important historical icon. Every single person is already preset, and it has certain preset revolutions of how the world is supposed to work on this particular sector. And he says, alright, following the patterns we got here, and he goes along down the line, moves it around, and says, okay, as we get further in, we find ourselves in a position of this. And he shows an image that looks like two towers and a plane crashing into it. Scrolls through a little more. Wars happening in Iraq, Afghanistan, all these things that have just been happening over the years. President Obama goes through more, until finally, about around what you can gauge about 20 years after. 20 years. I want to say actually no. 20 years since that time. In approximately, and he looks at you. He says, this is where we are. There are 3 more events that are going to happen before the end of the world. And everything is preset, predestined to make this end happen. And there's nothing any of us are able to do to stop it. Is this making sense?
I can sort of understand what's going on. How long away is the end?
3 years.
So, what? One event each year for the next 3 years?
Yes. One big event over the course of the next 3 years is what's currently in the plan. And he just shows you everything that has been recorded here has happened in history. It scrolls back to other previous times before the world ended. He shows you them, and they happen exactly according to plan. The God Machine has laid out a singular plan, and it works. It controls the world. It controls the universe. It is destiny itself.
Are there any images or any information about what the other events are? Or is it just simply or is the computer simply noting event here, here, and here?
It actually has certain preordained events. The next event, give me a sec, I actually have to, figure them out right now.
Okay. Because as it goes over, I kind of want to ask him, you say nothing can stop the coming events to lead to the end of the world. But I think we can.
No. It's, as of right now, so to speak, it's impossible. Even being in here was preordained. Imagine if something new